I am so bad at forcing myself to just start filming. Literally, I find these smallest tasks, the smallest, most pointless things to do to procrastinate filming. Not that I dislike filming, I'm just like, why film when I could clean every inch of my whole fucking apartment? I know a majority of my videos have always kind of been like the scary stories and the paranormal stuff, but I feel like right now that's like all I'm posting. So if you're here for the other videos, I'm sorry, but I have another scary story for you guys. I was actually going on Reddit to look at No Sleep to find a story to read, and then I remembered a really long time ago I emailed this guy who writes scary stories, and he basically told me that I can use whatever stories I want from him. So I went to his website, which I will have linked down below. Go check him out. And I found a story that I'm so excited to read. I think it's a little bit shorter, but I think it's gonna be a good one. I think one of the tasks before I start filming should be to actually pull it up on my phone, so I don't have to do that while I'm filming. And now that we've cut the rambling to a beautiful minute and 30 seconds, this story is called I Was Raised by the Man Who Kidnapped Me. The people I live with aren't my parents. They aren't even related to my parents, as far as I can tell. They're just people. Cold, ruthless, angry people who wanted to have a daughter of their own and didn't care whose lives they destroyed to get one. I've always known there was something strange about them. Martha, Mom, looks nothing like me. She thinks nothing like me. She's always blithering about her precious china plates or sorting her collection of pristine dresses and shoes that no one's allowed to wear. Tyler, Dad, is an auto mechanic who smells like gasoline all the time, always mumbling and looking away as though he's ashamed to be alive. I don't know what I'm supposed to do or who I'm supposed to be when I grow up, but I've lived with them long enough to know what I don't want. They treat me like a possession. I speak when I'm spoken to, I wear what I'm told to wear, go where I'm told to go, and even at 15, I'm never, ever allowed to go alone. And you know what really makes me sick? The fact that I looked past all of their manipulative, controlling habits for my whole life. It didn't matter that I wasn't allowed to go play with friends. Dad wanted to keep me safe, and he knew best. It didn't matter that Mom forced me to spend countless hours sitting on the floor to sew lace into her clothes. It was all I've ever known, and I trusted them. But not anymore. I found out when I stumbled across a personal ad in the local paper. I don't read the news, but I picked up a big stack for a school papier-mâché project, and there it was on top. Missing, 15-year-old girl. Birth date, 6/4/2002. Brown hair, green eyes. We haven't given up. We will never forget. Last seen 12 years ago, abducted from Bakersfield Park, pink bow in her hair. Below that were two pictures. One of a baby girl, about 3 years old. Another one that looked like a computer-generated prediction of what she would look like now. The hair was all wrong, but other than that, it felt like looking in a mirror. My birthday, my description, my picture. I couldn't breathe. I'd never gotten along with the people I live with, but I had tolerated them this long because I thought underneath all their self-absorption, they were my family. I was supposed to love them. Imagining them snatching me out of a park, imagining the countless nights my real parents must have searched and prayed and cried, it made my blood boil. I started flipping through the stack of papers. There was an ad again, another month back, and another month before that. Always the same words. We will never forget. Are you making a mess in there? It was Martha, her beady little eyes tracking me from the living room, judging every move I made. I did my best to keep my trembling hands from betraying what I found as I neatly stacked the newspapers once more. Do you have any baby pictures I could look at? I asked innocently. Martha's face crinkled with distaste. Of course, but I don't want you looking. You never put anything away properly. I mean, when I was really small, like 2 years old. I scrutinized her face for any sign of discomfort, but it was difficult to read when she was always scowling like that. I shouldn't think so, she huffed, turning back to her magazine. There was that flood when you were, you'd have to be too young to remember. It was all I needed to know. I went back to my room and dialed the phone number in the ad. I was actually in tears when the voice crackled through the other line. Mom? I whispered as loudly as I dared. Mom, are you there? We didn't call the police. We figured that anyone who could live their entire life as a lie was capable of anything. Instead, we were just going to do it as quietly as possible. I packed my favorite clothes in a backpack and hid it under my bed. I let Tyler tuck me in, somehow resisting the urge to spit in his face when he leaned in to kiss me goodnight. I let Martha watch me from the crack in the door, pale orbs glowing where they reflected the moonlight. I pretended to be asleep, my whole body flushed and throbbing in anticipation. Finally, the coast was clear. I grabbed my backpack and snuck out in my pajamas, not wanting to spend a second longer in that house than I had to. There was a car waiting for me at the end of the block. For the first time I could remember, I was going back to my real home. A woman got out of the passenger side and waved to me. No, not just any woman. It was my mom. I knew it before I even saw her. I was running without even realizing it, and she was running too. We didn't slow down until we collided, hugging and crying, utterly abandoned by words. She smelled like warm cinnamon. Then a man got out of the driver's side, but before I could approach him, the deck lights behind me turned on. "Tyler, she's running away! I told you something was wrong." I flew into the car and didn't look back. My parents, my real parents, were tearing up the road, and I was giggling like a maniac the whole way. "We never stopped believing," my father was saying from the front. "That's not to say they didn't get hard sometimes, but the other children are going to be so happy too," Mom squealed with adrenaline. I have brothers and sisters?" I couldn't stop smiling. Two complete strangers, and already they seemed closer to me than my old family ever was. Something like that. My parents exchanged a knowing look. "And they can't wait to meet you." Barred windows, a padlock on the front door, concrete floors. I don't know what I was expecting home to be, but this wasn't it. A dozen frightened faces lifted to greet us when the door opened. "Run!" a little girl screeched, about 12 years old. She jumped up as soon as she heard us, but I was so bewildered that I didn't make the slightest move. I was shoved hard from behind and fell to my knees. The door slammed shut behind me. My parents were on the outside, and I could hear the padlock snap back into place. "I'm sorry," the little girl said. "I'm so sorry." "Mom? Dad?" It wasn't that I refused to believe what was going on. I was incapable of believing. I built this fantasy up in my head for so long that, for the moment at least, it was still stronger than whatever reality tried to break through. "We will never forget." It was my mother, but the voice was wrong. I couldn't see her on the other side of the door, but I know that the sound could only come through a snarl. "And neither will you." "Forget what? Mom? Dad? What's going on?" I felt a small hand in mine, and I jumped. Everything was moving so fast. I let the girl guide me back to the far side where the others were sitting. The walls were decorated with newspaper clippings, personal ads, hundreds of them, all for missing children, all promising that they'd never forget. "That's mine over there." The little girl pointed at her picture in one of the ads. "Stop talking to her," an older girl said. "You'll be punished for it." I scanned the other children, all teenagers, I think, all girls. Some of them looked like people I might bump into on the street, but others were stranger. Their skin was drawn in tight and riddled with bruises and sores. Their eyes were hollow, and I got the impression that they didn't see me even when they were pointing in my direction. "I don't care," the younger girl insisted. She steered me up against the wall and sat cross-legged in front of me. I could barely see her face through the matted hair. "They hate girls. That's why we're here." "That's not the reason," the older girl sighed. "It's because they're crazy. There doesn't need to be any other reason." "They lost their own daughter," the younger continued. "She was a hooker or something, and she got killed. I don't know the details, but I guess they started collecting girls after that. Every once in a while, a foreign man." "He's from Russia," one of the others interjected. "Foreign man comes and chooses us, then they go with him." "What happens to the ones who aren't chosen?" I asked, but looking around, I already knew the answer. "Don't worry about it, you're a pretty one. They'll pick you," the older girl said. I don't know why she thought that. I could barely even see her face in the gloom. "Here." The little girl handed me a notepad and a pen. "You can have this if you want." "What am I supposed to write?" She shrugged. "Anything you want. At least then there'll be something left when you're gone." The first thing I wrote was, "I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad." The second thing I wrote, "You're reading right now." Holy fuck! Oh my Jesus Christ, that is, okay, I love the stories where I have absolutely no idea what's gonna happen. I genuinely thought this was gonna be a super happy story. Holy shit. I'm probably gonna go through this man's website and find a million stories to read to you guys. I am like, holy cow. I'm literally speechless right now. I love it so much when I just like am completely dumbfounded by the story. That's like my favorite thing in the entire world. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Go check him out. He has a million stories on his website. I think it says too that he comes out with 2 scary stories every single week. And I'm pretty sure he has like a book. Go check him out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I'm sorry this one's a little bit shorter, but I think it was worth it because that was absolutely amazing. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. I went back to my room and dialed the phone number in the ad. Whenever I wear red, it reminds me of Diet Coke. I feel like a Diet Coke can right now. I don't know why. Is that weird? Probably a little bit.